Welcome to Marquee Backstage. I'm your host, Julie Milam. Well, we're about to cut straight to the cold, hard truth about life and music. This Kentucky singer-songwriter stirs up emotions with his storytelling and dips into rock, country, R&B, and blues with his musical style. With just one listen, the lyrics will take you exactly where you need to go. Stick around for a smooth finish. This is ERIC BOLANDER.
Our minds were free. Lean on my shoulder. We'll drive till the sun can be seen on Montgomery Hill, where we laughed and lost ourselves on Montgomery Hill. Said myself, take me way back when. Montgomery Hill. Put my bags on the tailgate. He said, son, you'll do just fine. Hit the road up to Beckley. Boarded on my first flight. Screams and the sweat ran down my spine. With no regret, home was always on my mind on Montgomery Hill, where we laughed and lost ourselves on Montgomery Hill. Said myself, take me way back when.
This long-awaited interview, I could not sit down with the ERIC BOLANDER any faster. So excited to have you on the show today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So I know you're going to take me down a long road.
It's mostly dirt and gravel.
Tell me what the young ERIC was like.
It all started in the summer of 1980 in a small town, Garrison, Kentucky. So I grew up in Garrison. It's northeast, right along the Ohio River Valley, foothills of the Appalachian Mountains.
Okay.
I usually have to mention Ashland, Kentucky, because more people from the region are familiar with that city.
Right.
My hometown's population's 800, so grew up pretty humble, I guess is the word you would use in an interview. I don't know what else. I would just say probably poor.
Did you realize how small it was? Or did you just think
no,
every
no,
hometown
not at
was
all.
like
You
that?
know, I mean, this is, I was born in 1980, so when I was a young kid, there was no internet. It was cable television or the antenna that was your way of knowing the world, and especially when we didn't have a whole lot of money growing up, so we didn't do a lot of travel. Vacation was a weekend at Moorhead or something.
Right.
At the lake or Carter Caves or hitting the creek, as we said.
Life
all
was
that kind of
easy.
stuff. Yeah, I mean, it really was when you think about it as a kid.
They
And
didn't share any of the stories, any of the challenges?
They were amazing. My mom and dad were amazing at not allowing us to know the hardships that we were suffering as a family early on when I was real young. And then my elementary, which is a small elementary in town that a lot of families, were working families and didn't have a whole lot of money. Many families were probably on food stamps and things like that, assistance, and so you got made fun of for being ugly or fat or something, but you didn't get made fun for being poor, really.
Right.
Just because that wasn't something, it was a common thing. There was a few families that did okay with business and stuff, but yeah, for the most part, everybody was lived in a small house or a trailer or out in the holler somewhere. And for example, we didn't have an indoor bathroom until I was like 5 years old.
Do you
We
remember?
had a kitchen sink, vaguely, but now we had running
What
water,
do you
but
use
we
the
just
kitchen sink for?
take a bath when you're a little kid,
Well, little kids
but
still
we
do
had
that.
running water, I guess
Yes,
is what I'm saying.
yes.
But I remember my granny had well water, and I had an uncle that had an outhouse all the way through until I was in high school, so it was a common thing.
Right.
But until I was older and around more kids, like junior high and high school, I didn't realize that oh yeah, we didn't have a whole lot.
And didn't think anything of it because
Not
it was
at
just
all.
kind of normal.
Not at all.
The only side, coal mines, the top side. Fresh air, family. Spent your whole life living on the short side. A pup on company strings. Take all of your wishes, your thoughts and your prayers. Lay 'em all on the whispers of coal men who just don't care. And coal men who just don't care. A young girl full of dreams and aspirations sees a daddy full of pain. She wonders if a family seeks salvation, then why are bills not paid? And take all of her wishes, her thoughts and her prayers. Lay 'em all on the whispers of coal men who just don't care. Coal men who just don't care. And take all of your wishes, your thoughts and your prayers. Lay 'em all on the whispers of coal men who just don't care. And coal men who just don't care. And coal men who just don't care.
So when did ERIC Bolander start to discover his own individual personality, your own interests, your own hobbies?
Probably birth.
Okay.
I was always a different kid, I think. Looking back, you can always reflect, right?
Right.
Nostalgia is strong because it forces you to look back. But when you do look back, you can always pick up on things that you hear from other stories, origin stories or what have you. So for me, I always felt a little bit different, and I didn't know I was a creative person. I just created things.
Right.
And I also have a visual arts background. I'm an art teacher as well. I have a bachelor's of fine art and painting. I do graphic design. So I live in the right side of my brain. So art is my entire world. But looking back as a kid, my dad was a carpenter. And he built and made things, and he built houses or remodeled stuff. And so I was in an artistic home without realizing it was an artistic thing.
Right.
Because growing up the country, manual labor is how you made a living, right? So art was something extra or a hobby or
Right.
something florists did, right?
Right. Did you play sports?
I did. I played football. That's probably obvious, but
You never know.
I did play, like little league baseball, and track for a little bit, but like throwing shot put and stuff.
Right.
I played football all the way up through high school.
Did you love it, or did you do it
I
because
loved
you
it.
felt like it was?
Nope, I loved it.
Oh yeah.
Had an older brother. My father wasn't in sports at all. He liked boxing and horseshoes. We didn't really care for sports, but my older brother played sports, and he got me into, he was my hero. Growing up, it's like my older brother, he's cool.
Yeah. If he did it, I should do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But thankfully, he got me into it. I appreciate that he did, because it became a true passion for me, and honestly kept me in check. I had such a toxic, stereotypical vantage or view of the arts. It's like, oh, that's for, whatever. It's like,
Tough guys
so
don't make
yeah,
art.
you know, it's like dumb, so dumb. Now I'm an art teacher, an artist, a musician, like all these things. It's like, how stupid.
But you want to teach those kids that it's not what you
Yeah, I
thought.
share that story a lot because I want them to realize, hey, you know, be the weirdo, be the dork, the geek, the, you know, let your freak flag fly kind of. That's my attitude, man. I want that for those kids, because if you do that when you're very impressionable and you're 14, 15, 16 years old and you allow yourself to become that person, you'll be so confident and safe within yourself when you're an adult.
So
And
when did music first touch your life?
my freshman year, I went to Morehead State University
Okay.
in Morehead, Kentucky. And my best friend, Kev, was on the same floor in the same dorm. But he played guitar, so he would let me like play on his guitar. It's electric, so I couldn't be that loud without plugging it in, right? Because I was like, hey man, I could do that. Why don't you teach me some chords? And of course, you can't do that when you first start. And so I played on his very poorly for a semester, and then the spring semester I saved up and bought my first guitar, and then took it from there. In that process, I learned that I had an ear for it. So by no means perfect pitch, but like a relative pitch. Like I could pick up things and like follow a melody and figure it out on guitar. Still not really singing or anything.
Just playing for
Just
fun.
playing guitar.
Okay.
Yeah. Singing to the radio in my car by myself. And never.
Not even singing for Kev?
No, nobody.
Okay.
Not even my first wife. Whenever we got together, like I sang in front of her
Never?
once.
Because you were not confident in your own voice?
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not confident at all.
So what changed?
I just never thought, because I would hear people that I admired, singers, and be like, oh, wow, you know.
Yeah.
And you hear that
But you hear
for
a
a long
studio
time,
produced product.
100%, and you don't
not
know it. When you're not
live.
around it. When you're
Yeah.
not around it, you don't know that.
You don't know
what
the
I mean?
difference. Okay.
So once you hear an artist you admire, or at least know of, screw up on stage, it does a whole lot for you.
It does.
You're like, that was flat.
What was your first show that you saw live?
I did like go to local and regional stuff with my buddy and hear some people. It's like, oh gosh, you know, dang on, you know. And then I started thinking, I'd probably do that. You know, I could be on that level at least.
People are still clapping.
Backing up just a few months, I was still in my last year of art school, and we were at an art opening where they opened the art building up. This is the University of Kentucky at this point. And they open it up, and public comes in, see all the art. Me and my buddies were jamming in our studio, and then we had worked up a couple songs, and I sang.
Throw it out.
So I was so nervous. I was facing my buddy who was back's against the wall, and the door's behind me, so I couldn't see his soul. So we're jamming, and I'm singing, and we finished the song, and there was like 12 people in the studio that started clapping.
So it's the Jim
And I was
Morrison.
like, I got goosebumps because I had no idea anybody was really behind me. I thought a couple people were standing there. It was like a dozen people.
That's where your confidence came from. You thought nobody was
100%. And it was like, I was like, dang. And it felt so good. It was like this fire that just kind of built inside of me. I was like, damn, that was good, you know? And
watching. It felt right.
felt really good.
Driving down this long, lonesome highway, see the same old signs every other day. My favorite stop really isn't on my way. Think I'll swing on by for a drink anyway. Will it go down as smooth as the one thing I thought I'd never lose? It seems so far from the ending, I can't keep pretending that it's you. Oh no. Will it grow into a habit? Something I don't need, but I gotta have it. Why can't we just pretend that this thing won't ever end, but it's through? know it's through. I know it's through.
So now you start to play out on your own, and you're
Yeah.
trying to figure out your style for your
So we're
shows.
doing covers. We're a cover band. Just figuring it out and like just performing horribly as often as we could.
Right?
And then the guitarist Steven and myself and the bass player Jimmy started writing songs. And we were doing more hard rock, metal type music. And then we finally landed on a drummer who's now my drummer, Ben, aka Buck. And we pieced together a band called Modern Day Relic, and that was my first sort of approach at seriously writing original songs, original lyrics, original vocal melodies. So I owe a lot of my songwriting to those days with that band, you know. And then Ben sang backup in that band with me. So now people hear him and they've complimented us sounding like brothers, you know.
Right. So when did you decide to step out on your own? You're going to front this band, and it is go time.
All right. So Modern Day Relic's playing, performing, and Steven, the guitarist, and myself started writing some songs that were more indie rock and then some like bluesy rock and roll stuff. So none of these songs really fit what we're doing, and he and I were real excited about it and wanted to work on it. So we kind of, I don't know, it was more of a hiatus, really. We didn't like break the band up, but then eventually we were like, hey guys, we're gonna try to piece together a band for this.
Yeah.
You know. So we pieced together Alcatraz Shakedown, which is the rock band we're still together. We only play a couple times a year. We'll try to write a song or two a year.
Yeah.
And so while writing music for that, I was bringing in some ideas that didn't quite fit. So I finished, I think it was 4 of them. And John Ferguson, who at the time was my neighbor, we were friends, and he I know, he had sang on Alcatraz Records, and you know, we'd known each other, played shows, you know, together and stuff. And so he had a little studio in his basement, and he tracked my demo, my EP, and also did Dolly Parton's Jolie.
Yes, you did.
So somewhere out there on, I can't remember, SoundCloud or Bandcamp is my version of that. But so yeah, we did that. I did the artwork for it, had it, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna play some solo shows.
Yeah.
I had no intentions of quitting Alcatraz Shakedown, which obviously I still haven't. But
Right. Well, it feeds your soul from both sides of your personality,
Yes.
which I can totally
Yeah.
get. But we're backstage with the ERIC Bolander, and I'm super excited to see where you've come from.
yeah,
We're about to listen to a lot more of where you are now, but what do you still want to accomplish as ERIC Bolander?
man, I don't. It's a common question. I think it's the hardest one for any artist to answer, because you have your typical dreams and aspirations. Oh, I want to play at the Ryman. I want to sell out this venue and that venue. I want to, I want 1 million followers. I want all the world to hear my stuff
Right.
and enjoy my art. You know, I think that's the generic answer for everybody. Genuine, but
Right.
generic nonetheless. When you think of artists, performers, musicians, actors, dancers, the general public's idea of what success and the definition of success, it's always there's always a fame and financial aspect that you look at, and that sucks because it bleeds into your own opinion of yourself. You know, and to feel successful, I think, means a different thing to each artist, and I hope to achieve that. You know, I hope
Most
to
definitely.
achieve not being content, but to achieve a consistent, growing feeling of feeling successful.
The light came through the window of our room. Mine couldn't keep up with what my heart already knew. I hope I'll get it right. Get it right. Let it fly. Let it fly. When she came into the room and looked at me for the first time, my heart filled up like a hot air balloon while I cried. I hold the light of my life. I hope that I'll get it right. Get it right and let it fly. Let it fly. Oh, light of my life. Oh, that I'll get it right. Get it right and let it fly. Let it fly. Let it fly. Let it fly.